So we just want to give you some reminders and heads up on things that might be changing or coming down. Um, I think Molly. Oh, yes. Let me see. Molly, is that you?
Hi, sorry, I just finished orientation.
No problem. Do you want to introduce yourself real quick?
I'd love to. Hello, everybody. Sorry for interrupting. My name's Molly King. I am the Director of Clinical Field Experience here at NDMU. So I oversee, coordinate internships, field experiences, and I've also started adjuncting one or two classes. And I do a couple other duties assigned here at NDMU. So nice to see all of you.
Before I forget, want to introduce our two newest faculty members. So Dr. Antonio Ellis.
Hello, everyone.
He is going to be in charge of our special education program. I don't know, he comes from American University. He can add some more stuff in the chat for you about his illustrious career. I think he's BFFs with Gloria Ladson Billings, which is pretty cool. And then we have Dr. Yue Shi.
Hello, everyone.
And he will be joining us as a data guru. So qualitative, quantitative, working with our PhD students, doing statistics courses. So we're elated to have him as well. All right. Kathy, did you want to start off?
Sure. I just wanted to kind of officially welcome all of you here and thank you for taking time at the end of a long day to join us tonight for a little while so we can talk about some of the things that are really important to the success of your work at Notre Dame. First of all and foremost, I want to say thank you for your commitment to Notre Dame. I know none of you are going to get rich here, so I know that you teach for us because you are committed to our students and to the mission of Notre Dame. And we call you associate faculty here at Notre Dame instead of adjunct faculty because that's a very important distinction for us. We don't find that you're an adjunct or an afterthought to our faculty. You are associated with our faculty and an important part of our teaching staff. So please never forget how much we value you here and appreciate everything that you do for our students. We're very committed to the mission of the institution in the School of Education and the success of our students. And I know that many of you have come to us from the student ranks as well after completing your degree and giving back to the institution through your knowledge. But every one of you is very important to us, and we want to provide you with some additional information that will help kind of hopefully facilitate your pathway through what is sometimes a circuitous maze at the institution, and just some tips and strategies for being successful as you move forward. So for those of you who have been teaching for us for a long time, and those of you who are new this year, just welcome, thank you, and I hope that the information that you received tonight and that we share, you'll find valuable and useful moving forward.
So Ryan has updated our School of Ed website, which he dropped the link in the chat. So most of what I'm going to talk about briefly, he's going to show in a minute and go over all of those updates. One of which, the contract. So as most of you know, if you're teaching a fall class, Natalie's in the process of sending all of those out. We had an issue with our system colleague and merging and doing all of the things behind the scenes. So apologize for those coming out late. And also, I have been communicating with some of you as we're looking at the numbers. Some of the courses that we typically have high enrollment in and multiple sections, we've had to cut back on and make sure that our full-time faculty have enough courses to meet their load. So again, I appreciate your flexibility and, apologize if I do contact you and say, hey, I'm sorry, we need to, cancel this section to make sure that our full-time faculty are met. And then also the university has cut back on the number of courses they're allowing us to run that are low enrolled. I know in the past we've been like, yeah, it's fine, go ahead if we want to teach. If you're willing to teach these prorated, we'll let you, but they've stopped that. So please know it's not a reflection on you or your teaching. It's just university policy and changes to make things more efficient. So as soon as you get those contracts, sign them, send them back, you will probably notice that, you know, they'll be listed for the full amount. If you, for some reason, are under enrolled, that's 7, then the number will change and be prorated. You should get that contract back where you can initial it and acknowledge, yep, I'm not getting the full 2650 or, you know, whatever it is. I'm going to get whatever that new price or new cost is associated with that. Communication with students. You all are, you know, usually really good with that. And I know things can kind of get busy. Sometimes students also send things from their personal emails, which we need to make sure that we follow the policy that all emails from you and from them are from our Notre Dame email, because there's a whole FERPA piece with that. And you're also protected. If students email you, if you could just acknowledge that you received their emails in 24 hours and say, yep, I'll get back to you, just so that they know. A lot of them like to jump the gun and try to, you know, ask you multiple times. Although if they don't hear from you, you know, within a short amount of time, they reach out to us. And so we always, you know, prompt them to reach back out and ask them, well, how long has it been, right? So just sending them a quick, hey, got your email. Thanks so much. I'll get back to you within 24 hours would be fantastic. Ryan is going to show you the updated syllabus template. Please make sure that you send your course syllabus every semester to your program chair. So either Ryan, if you're teaching in one of the advanced programs, or Angelo, if you're teaching one of the initial certification courses. And if you don't know what program you teach in, let me know. You can ask a question and I'll tell you. The other piece of that is making sure that your Brightspace is open 2 weeks prior to the start of the semester. You just need to have your syllabus up there. We're not saying you have to have your whole course, you know, fleshed out, but this way students can check it out and they can get the books if they need to. And also they can decide if the workload is gonna be feasible for them. Let's see. So question from Shannon. So the CPD courses for BCPS, Kathy and Donna. Are we keeping those separate, or are they, because they're not the same syllabus that we used, right?
No, they have their own syllabus, but we still ask that they open their class 7 to 10 days before the start date, just like everyone else. And one other thing, when people do their contracts, if they could check the information that's on their contract, your contact information, and make sure that it is current and up to date. We've had people get married and change their emails, and when we reach out, then we don't get the correct reaching. So it gets frustrating when we're trying to reach people. Phone numbers don't work anymore because people don't have house phones. So just if you could really make sure that your information is really current and accurate, that would help us a lot. We would appreciate it.
So Patricia, the math instructional leader is going to be Ryan. But I guess Donna, to answer about the CPD, since they would go probably to Ryan, right?
For what? For what part of them? I mean,
Any of
so
them? Because
I don't understand what they're asking. It says is this from Shannon? I teach CPD courses through the BCPS.
Yeah.
So okay,
I'm just trying to understand where I fall into all of the things being shared tonight. That's all. Not just the syllabus, but everything, who I need to communicate with, etc.
Right, so you can always reach out to me because I'm the Baltimore County contact person. But if you need help, like with your class or whatever, I mean, everything that they talk about tonight about putting grades in, reaching out to your students, your emails, all of that information is going to be the same, whether you teach the CPD classes or Notre Dame classes.
Is there a fall CPD course list available yet? I can't seem to find it on the Baltimore County website.
I did send it to them to post, and the students have been started being registered for it.
Great, thank you. Sorry.
If you want one, send me an email and I'll attach it to you. Okay.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Sure.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. So self-service, we've all switched over. We used to have the web advisor, and now we have self-service, where you do your roster verification. Make sure you do that by the add drop period. So it's usually your second class. The registrar does send out reminders of that, and you can also find it on the Notre Dame academic calendar site. And again, Ryan's going to show the quick link to that on our website. Final grades, those also are posted in self-service, and the dates that those are due are also on the academic calendar as well. Incompletes. So there's been a lot of, I guess, confusion around incompletes for students and staff, and thinking about what that entails. When can I give somebody incomplete? The policy that we have listed is that students cannot get an incomplete unless they request it from you, and at the time they make the request, they have at least 50% of the work completed. And it needs to be an extenuating circumstance. It's not just that they, got behind or they were working their other job too much. It has to be that, there's a severe illness in the family, or they're taking care of parents or spouses or kids, or there was a death, something of that nature that's extenuating, and they have to ask you for it. And again, pay attention to that 50%. A lot of students, right. So you're not supposed to, provide it as an option. I mean, if you're working with a student that has had an issue and is working really hard to try to get their work done, I mean, we're not saying you can't mention it, but the policy is that they need to. And it's not assumed that you're going to give it to them just because, they had a rough semester, they just couldn't get their work done, they're working multiple jobs, they need to make an effort. So one of the things that we've shared with the students in the new orientation, and we keep impressing upon them, is that if they don't think that they can handle it, then look at the withdrawal dates. So on the academic calendar, there's dates where you can withdraw from your course and still get refunded a portion of your tuition. And also, be in contact with your advisor to find out, what's the best path forward for you. Should you withdraw at this point? Should you try to get that 50% done and then work with your instructor? And then when you put in the incomplete into the system, you need to put in the end date, which typically is, if it's a spring one, if they're getting incomplete in the spring semester, then October 15th, and then March 15th if they're getting an incomplete for the fall semester. You do not have to give them that full amount of time. If they only have a couple assignments left, you can say, hey, you know what do you think? This is what I think is reasonable. I'll give you another month. But just so the drop dead dates are the 15th of October and 15th of March. If they don't get that work into you and you don't change the grade, it goes to an F. You can still submit a change of grade form and we can get that changed. But, you need to put this back on the student. And I know that, from semester to semester, we have a lot going on, and I don't even remember sometimes. I'm like, oh, I forgot that student had incomplete. So make sure, it's their responsibility. And Ryan, is the change of grade form on our School of Ed website?
No, it's
Okay,
not.
we're gonna add that, because I know some of you have it and some of you don't. So you literally just fill out this little form. It's not the most user friendly, but you can either, sign off on it, do it in hard copy, and then you send it to the dean, because the dean has to sign off on it and send it down. If you send it to me, it's fine. I'll just send it to Kathy. Not a big deal.
I'll make sure it goes on essential documents and templates, which I'll show you in a little while.
Perfect. Thanks, Ryan.
Uh-huh.
Any other questions about, let me see, incompletes?
Yeah. Julianne, the
Yeah.
last grade form, when Angela and I did it for the Ed TPA, it has on the bottom of it that it doesn't go to the dean if it's an I, that it goes to that registrar.
Yeah.
There's an email address.
That's correct. Incomplete grade changes, incomplete to a grade does not require the dean's signature. It's only if the student were to fail or have like a C and you're changing it to a B. It can just go straight to the registrar, like Jody said.
And I think there's also some time if it lapses too long or something too.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Book orders. So those of you who have been with us for a while have known that we've gone through a couple different changes with how to order our books. The most recent one is that they send you a link, your own personal link, to your course. So you have to go to that link, and go every semester and figure out what books that you want, if you want to change things and adopt them. If by some chance you're not teaching that class, because what happens is as soon as the first draft of the schedule gets put in the system, the bookstore automatically starts sending emails to instructors. But as we know, our schedule is very dynamic. And so sometimes the instructors change, and you get an email and you're like, I'm not even the instructor. What do I do? So Brian's going to show there's actually a link that you can go to, or an email that you can send and say, hey, you know what? I'm not the instructor on this. Can you, go back and look? Because they don't go back and look at any changes. And that's why we get these lists and, continuously say, hey, can you adopt your book? Or if you don't get one, it's because they sent it out before you were the listed instructor. Ryan will talk about chalk and wire assignments. We have a slight change with that. And then our AI statement, Brightspace. Again, when you have cross-listed courses, just make sure that you're creating and opening the course that has all of the sections combined. And it's a pain that, you might have 4 courses or different sections, right? And then they're all cross-listed. So now you have 5. You can't get rid of those 4 that are inactive. But just make sure that you're opening and creating everything in that shell that has all of them cross-listed, so all the students can access it. And then I think Ryan will talk a little bit more about the Brightspace shell and just, setting it up for accessibility. Progress monitoring. So that's another link that's on the website that's been very helpful and successful. So if any of you have any students that are struggling or having any issues, you can't get a hold of them, they might have showed up for the first couple of sessions and then they dropped off, or they're just turning in work that is not, up to par, up to standard. You can click on that link and you can fill out a form, and we look at that every couple of weeks as a leadership team to see if there's a trend, and typically there is a trend in the students that we're seeing come through, so we can catch that and work with them. So that's been really helpful and really important. Donna, did you want to add anything else to that?
It is really helpful to us, and we do reach out to the students. It kind of catches them early, so we do really appreciate you doing it. Some of the students get a little affronted by it, but it helps us stay in touch with them and keep them on track. So we do appreciate it. I go in every week and check it and send it to the advisors of whoever the students are, so that since we only meet like once a quarter or once every couple months, it's just faster to do it that way. So I keep it up that way. And then when we meet, we look for trends of the same student in different classes, always being on the list. So it's helped us reach out to coordinators of cohorts also and let them know students that are having trouble. So we do appreciate it.
And then the last thing that I'll say before I hand over to Ryan, is that I know as far as reaching out to advisors, I used to be able to WebAdvisor figure out who the advisor was for your students. And in self-service, that function isn't available to you currently. I am, working with the registrar to see if they can turn that on, because you can see it if you have certain permissions. So I'm hoping that we can get that fixed so that you're able to see who the advisor is of your students for each class. But in the meantime, you can email me or Angelo or Donna, and we can look up, who the advisor is for you so you can get contact. And speaking of advisors, on the agenda, you'll see the list of all updated advisors, contact information, and what programs they advise. And if you have a question, because there's lots of acronyms in there, just let us know. All right, Ryan, all yours.
All right, everybody, let me go ahead and just dial this in real quick. Here we go. So you should be able to see my screen. I'll make it a little bit bigger. I did put the link inside of Zoom a few times just so that you have access to it. It is also on the agenda. If you have a question, just go ahead and ask in the chat box, or just unmute it. But let me go ahead through this so this way I could put context to all these different agenda items that we went through. So I'm going to start with meet the associate faculty. In fact, I just received an email. We like to celebrate you. We know that you are absolutely a valuable and crucial element to the School of Education. We ask that you send us your picture and just a short little bio about yourself. If you're already up here and you would like to revise yours, you're more than welcome to send it to me. I will probably work over the next couple days and update this document. So please, if you're not up here already, please go ahead and just send us a image and a bio for yourself. Thank you. Right, let's see. I'm just going to go right through this. I'm going to go back to the home page real quick. So right here is the progress monitoring link. We thought it was so important and crucial that we put it right at the top of the home page. So if a student has fallen off the face of the earth, if they're struggling with their work, please go ahead and click on this and just fill out the form. It will just ask a few questions and you can have it up, and you can, of course, refresh it and do it multiple times if you have certain students. We do ask that you do one student at a time for each entry, so this way we're not kind of lumping them together. Just keep on redoing the form. I'm going to keep on going through the home page. The School of Education Handbook is embedded in this home page. You are more than welcome to read it. It gives you a bunch of information. It was last revised a few years ago. And if you don't like it embedded in here, you can always download the handbook right there. The School of Education dispositions, this is a lot of the modern day learning skills that we really want to cultivate inside of our students. I'll let you read that on your own time. We do have a philosophy of assessment. You can go ahead and read. Here is the School of Education grading scale. So this is for the graduate and the undergraduate school grading scale. So just go ahead and please be aware of it. It is on the syllabus template. Just verify, because I did just get it from Academic Affairs yesterday, and I had to update and revise it. Just go ahead and verify that the grading scale is correct. It should be. I'm pretty sure they gave me the right one. For rubric protocols, the School of Education uses a 0 through 3 rubric structure. So 0 is acceptable, 1's developing, 2 is proficient, and 3 is exemplary. For our CAPE accreditation, we try to have all of our assessment instruments and procedures go through 0 through 3 for consistency. So just to kind of give you an update of why we do 0 through 3, we decided as a School of Education to do it. So again, for consistency. Okay, so I'm going to skip on over to Brightspace just briefly. I will continue on to other things. So to access, how to access it is brightspace.ndmu, I'm sorry, .ndm.edu. The link is right there. I suggest you bookmark the vanity URL address, so this way you can just click on it and go right to the site. You generally do your email and password for a login credential. So here's the information. If you do not know how to access it, if you don't have it, you'll have to contact IT to get your credentials reset. Okay, so I think 14 days before the course opens, I'm usually pretty bad. I try to do it within the 10 days, but don't please, you can criticize me later. Making the course visible. So Brightspace as a default is not available to students. You actually have to go into the system to make the course visible for Brightspace so that they can access it. It's a very simple step. You go right into the Brightspace. Here are the steps. So please make sure to remember, 14 days beforehand to open up the site. And if you're new to Brightspace, you're new to learning management systems, I embedded some tutorials and resources and manuals to assist. There's a bunch of links down here to kind of assist you. When we adopted Brightspace, I ran a bunch of Brightspace interface and navigation and just introductory Zoom sessions. So those are pre-recorded. You are more than welcome to watch them if you need a kind of a Brightspace introduction or a boot camp to kind of just reacquaint yourself with all the functionality. Okay, so on SOE contact information, we have specialized SPA coordinators, program coordinators. Here are the contacts. We see it to be determined. We are still working on that. But these are the people that you would contact if you have questions specifically about anything curriculum-based when it comes to a program. If you're ever in any doubt, you can reach out to Angelo for initial, myself, and Julianne while I'm on sabbatical for the fall. You can reach out to us and we can either put you in the right, we can give you the answer or make sure to put you in contact with the person that can. And I am going to update these initial programs in advance. You'll see Catherine still up there. I'll deal with that later on. Let me see. I'm trying to find. Okay, essential documents. So this is where we place, and you can see I put progress monitoring up there. It's the same exact link as the home page. I just, I like to put this everywhere I can. So this way we can get our students the most help. Here's the updated syllabus template. And I did open it just to kind of show it to you. If you click on the link, you should see this, download it and go ahead and complete it. You should only have view-only rights and privileges right now. I'm just going to, so you'll fill this in just like a form to save it and to provide them. I tried to provide like little yellow highlights for anything that you would have to put in there and just be aware. And there's the grading scale, which looks accurate to me. Course schedule, assignments. I put a little thing in here so you can kind of do a little description. Here is the honor code and the statement, which they actually didn't put the statement on this one. Oh, here it is. It's right down. The integrity statement's right here. That's what happens when I rush. Okay. So this is the statement you request students place on their assignments. Okay, so what I ended up doing in class technology, I'll just let you go ahead and take a look. It's about intellectual property, learning management system, about FERPA. Okay, access to disability support services. We just had student orientation in which we encouraged our students that have any disabilities or any that need any accommodations to reach out to this office. If they reach out to you and state that that they need accommodations, you would point them into the direction of the Office of Accessibility in this way, and they contact. If you go to also the page on the School of Ed website, there's a section on there on how to use how to also contact the Office of Disability and Accessibility. Okay, so a little bit different this year is I put a School of Education protocol and policy section here. So we do have a School of Ed AI policy that was voted on and approved by the School of Education faculty. It's a fairly simple, straightforward definition of our AI policy. So go ahead and it is there for you. The e-portfolio policy is also now up. It has been mildly revised. So just a little bit of an update. The anthology portfolio, which is also formerly Chalk and Wire, they have changed their payment structures to where all accounts now are $50 a year, no matter what. So what we ended up doing is we are working with our business office to update the access link to where they could download it from the business office. So you might see right now I have like a little here right there that's in red. That's because I'm waiting for the little link that I can plug into all of my documents. What I'll do is I'll make sure that that link gets shared out with everybody when I have access to it. We're still, business office is obviously inundated because of the fall, so we will get that to you as fast as we can. There is also let's see. Oh, here's the communication email policy. This is up in your portfolio. I'm sorry, this is up in the syllabus. It's fairly it's just basically giving the protocols and information about how to handle yourself, how to conduct business, how to to communicate with your students. So there are the policies there for you. So that's the syllabus. It is up on essential documents. Also up here are if you're teaching a class that uses the School of Education lesson plan template aligned to EdTPA, you could download it here. If you need any other resources, like the lesson plan rubric, or if you're teaching a specific method section, you could do it here. There's also other resources here, like for Netiquette for students and Netiquette for faculty. If you need the lesson plan template, it's also here. So the essential documents, oh, and I put a little place here. I will get the grade change form up there for you as soon as I get it and embed it in. All right, so this essential documents and templates, we try to give you as many documents as we can to be helpful as so you can be successful during the semester. Self-service. So we mentioned before about self-service, how you can go there. You'll need to, that is the section where you'll actually do roster verification. It is also the section where you'll actually input your grades. You could also get your class lists there. There are step-by-step directions on how to do absolutely everything for those, how to do roster verification and grading, and final grades, how to input those. There's even a little self-service quiz down below. So there's self-service. It should be fairly straightforward on how to do it. The nice thing is it provides a date of when it's actually due for roster verification. So it says verify by, say, September 23rd. It'll actually give you a date of when it's due. That's something different that WebAdvisor did not do. Okay, so okay, book. Okay, so Chalk and Wire again. If you need, here's the actual policy, and as you can see, the links are there. If you want to take this and add it to your Brightspace page, you're more than welcome to. Here are e-portfolio directions and a tutorial. If you need to provide these to your students, you're like, oh, here's how to use your e-portfolio. They get these when they purchase their account, but they could have misplaced them. If you are an assessor, if you are new to Chalk and Wire or an e-portfolio, and you need to learn how to assess assignments in Anthology Portfolio, we also include assessor directions for you that will assist you in learning how to actually grade using the e-portfolio. And then also here is a little decision tree of who to contact. If you need any training, if you need any, if you need to contact somebody about a technical assistance, in any way, just let us know. Did I have a question? I think somebody was trying to say something. Okay, maybe I just heard some background noise. Apologies. I'm trying to think of anything else that I may have forgotten. Roster verification, AI statements done. Oh, Brightspace. So I just want to briefly go to Brightspace and show you, not only did I show you accessibility, I want to show you the best way to avoid assignments being kind of misplaced. So this is this is an old Brightspace page of a course I previously taught in the spring. A lot of students might go to like activities. I'm sorry, a lot of teachers might go to activities and go to assignments, and they might build their assignments inside the assignments menu. The issue is with this, it may end up becoming difficult for the students to find because it's not attached to any content. My suggestion is to go to content, and as an instructor, you'll see on the left-hand side, there's a table of contents with the module. My suggestion is going to say, for instance, the actual content here. And instead of going to assignments, you actually build your assignments and your, assignments and quizzes and stuff. You build it within the module. So if I want to upload or create, I'll go ahead and I'll do a new assignment here instead. What'll happen is I'll build this, and not only will it create the assignment here for my students to read and then submit here, but it's also going to create a record in the grade book. It's also going to create a link in the assessment section. Okay. Another big thing is if you have discussions, I also suggest you build discussions within this module structure, not going to the discussion menu, because what'll happen is you could do a discussion, it might not be graded, it won't be attached to the grade book, and it kind of becomes it might be redundant, you might have a dead link, or if you are repeating a course, or if you're importing courses from semester to semester, you'll notice a lot of dead links end up developing in your course shell. So my suggestion to make life easier is always build your content within the content section and go into the module and start hitting upload and create inside of your inside the actual modules, not going to this section that says activities and building it like this. Again, these could potentially become orphaned things that aren't providing a record inside the grade book. Stephanie raised her hand.
Ryan, so if we build it that way, sort of using that upload create inside each of the modules, then when we export that course to say repeat it the next semester and import it into that, that semester's course, that will sort of keep all those things intact. Those links don't become disjointed.
Correct. The only thing you have to do is you have to update your due dates. So when so when you were to, let's say for instance, I'm in the, I taught a summer course and I have to teach a fall course now, and I completely import I import a course from a previous semester, it's going to hold all of my old due dates. So what I have to do is, a lot of times when you prepare your course, you do that, you have to just go through and change your due dates, which is again fairly easy to do. If you need to adjust a due date, let me find something in here that
It also holds your announcements too. So if you made announcements like on, an announcement page, instead of sending emails, it'll keep the old one in there. I made that mistake and people were so confused because they were like, the dates are wrong. Did I miss something?
Or you got your end of course evaluation up there on the first week of school.
Yeah, they're like, what is happening? But honestly, why Ryan is showing this is because as most of you know, we have a variety of learners of all ages and abilities. And, a lot of them are just going to look at that content section and go module by module. They don't understand that going to that activities page or drop down will give them the discussion and the assignments. So having it right there embedded in your each module is going to help that process a lot.
And if you need to change due date, like here's my lens paper that I did with my students in April, you can literally click on this and it'll make it active and I can change the dates. And then when I'm done, I hit update and the dates are done. So what I do is I typically, once I'm done importing the course into the fall, let's say for the fall, I go through and just update all my dates. And it makes it so much easier. And then what I'll do is also I will make my weeks, I'll hide my weeks. I'll just include like welcome and maybe week 1. I'll just, shut off the visibility, and I just end up preparing my course, but I I just release it when they need it, just in time for when they actually want to learn. Let me go ahead and undo that though. So that Brightspace, and again, what'll end up happening is, and Julie and I were laughing because Brightspace, it becomes almost torture. When we have these orphaned assignments where, you might have paper 1 4 times, and then it also becomes hard to delete because you have to go to assignments first, delete it from there, then you have to go to grades, and it's trying to stop you from deleting something that's already linked. So it becomes like, it's almost like you're kind of almost chasing your tail to try and fix this. This is the best way, I think, to actually resolve that problem, is just build everything within your modules. Don't try and just go to activities assignment, and it becomes very cumbersome. And again, if you move from semester to semester, it becomes hard to manage. So that is Brightspace. Again, I'll go to the chat box and answer any questions. But that's Brightspace is fairly intuitive. It's fairly user friendly, and it will accept a lot of different resources in there. Just be careful with the video that videos. If you have actual video, big files will probably make it, crash. So please just be careful. And at any time, if you can link them, they're the best. It's always best to link. Okay. Go ahead, Steph. You had a question?
Yeah, sorry, Ryan. I just want to clarify. So, in terms of, sort of replicating that content semester to semester, the only way to build content in Brightspace is inside of a course, right? And then you have to export and import. There's no way to build, sort of your modules outside that then you pull them into multiple courses, correct?
Okay. I think I understand what you're asking. When I when I build courses, I do a lot of what we did when we were doing like our when we're doing our grant work, is I'll just make a simple form and just put the text that I want down, and I'll just copy and paste into Brightspace.
Yeah.
You can import and export Brightspace packages, but it's not going to be very user friendly. You actually, it's not user friendly to actually build using that. I just do like Microsoft Word or Google Docs or something like that to build content, and then link it and put it into Brightspace. If you're ever in any doubt, you always want to just go to create a file, and it'll actually give you web space to actually develop whatever you want. So this is an HTML friendly page. You can find templates in here. You can even browse for a template if you want to. So you can put in all the content that you want. So, if I went into a more evolved course, like this is a very simple face-to-face course. My online courses have like module plans, they have presentations, they have transcripts. It's a much more fluid, dynamic. It's a lot more accessible for my students. I'm able to make things accessible here, but it's a lot more user friendly. But I still start at Google Docs. I still start with a Microsoft Word template. So if that's what
I think the building inside I've been doing the assignments and the discussions under those tabs, under those sections from the activities tab. And I think what you're talking about here is super helpful. I think that'll eliminate some of the issues I'm having when I import and export, and it breaks all the things.
And if you need help, contact me next week, and I'll set up a little time. I wish I could give you the directions on how to do it. I literally have to sit there kind of, once I show you how to do it, you'll be able to do it, but I can't give you step-by-step directions because it's like chicken and egg. What comes first, we'll figure it out. But this is to try and try to prevent this from happening in the future. It's just to make life easier for you all.
Yep, I think it will. Thanks, Ryan.
No problem. Link did nothing. Antonio mentioned the link's not working. Is that for
Just, I dropped in a link for people to update their contact information.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It
worked for me.
Yeah, I mean, if the other people have
Okay.
problems, let me know, but
Because you're
there's
out.
no,
Here, I'll do it right now. It's because out was too close to the HTTPS. There you go. Link's fixed.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah, that's what it is. Thank you.
No problem. Glad. Yeah, and if there's anything just offline, you're more than welcome. I'll put my email address. Anything when it comes to Brightspace, I'm happy to assist anybody. But September 20, or no, August 22nd, technically, I'm not really supposed to do anything. So hit me up early. And I think at that point, so okay, I went through a bunch of
Krista Holder Smith, who I direct a lot of you to, is our faculty resource center coordinator. So if you have questions about Brightspace and the Brightspace, text or help box isn't working or isn't meeting your needs, then reach out to Krista.
Did I miss anything, Julian? I think I went through everything.
I think you did a great job. There's lots and lots of resources on the website, and default to that, bookmark it. And again, any questions about Brightspace, you can reach out to Ryan for like another week, and then Krissa after that. All right, so we're gonna hand it over to Angelo to give us some quick updates and then wrap it up. But while you're listening, if you could just make sure you update your information, even if you updated it last year, or if nothing's changed, if you could please do that, just so I have everything on a nice clean spreadsheet and then we can get a hold of you. That is fabulous. Thanks. So Angelo.
All right, so I got a couple things. Try not to keep everybody too long. Number one, I am the acting assistant dean. I am working in place of Dr. Lisa Pallett, who's on sabbatical. So that is mainly working, advising in our PhD program. So if any of you have any dealings with that, send your inquiries to me. That's the big update there. As far as department chair, well, I did want to talk a little bit about EdTPA. I think at this point, pretty much everybody knows what it is. Right, it's the Maryland teacher, it's a performance assessment for teacher candidates. But we last week here hosted a training seminar for a number of supervisors and methods instructors. I think we had 20 people total show up. If you weren't able to make it but are interested in viewing some of the recordings, we do have them recorded. So please reach out, and I'm going to forward you some of those recordings. Again, one of the I've been doing this for a couple of years now and said this at length, and so by the time they get to the internship, if they don't have any EdTPA training by that time, it's almost too late. It's not quite too late at that point. We can do some crash course, but it is what we found is it's best to start doing EdTPA early, and that is for the teacher candidates, but also for those who are training and teaching them, so supervisors and especially methods instructors. So if you're a methods instructor and you feel like you need more training in EdTPA, please reach out, and I will get you that training. Whether it's just you need to ask a couple questions or you need full-blown training, we have all of that. So please just let me know. It's really, really important that we integrate EdTPA as early as we can from that lesson planning stage from the methods course. Again, for those of you who are not familiar, it's a performance assessment. It's 3 tasks. It's it's planning, instruction, and assessment. And students have to submit 3 to 5 lesson plans. They have to record themselves, and they have to submit their assessment of students' work. And this is all assessed by outside reviewers from EdTPA. And I was a scorer for that, so I'm pretty familiar with the process. We have a number of people who have worked in different roles with EdTPA, so we have really knowledgeable staff on this. So please just reach out. Let me just go over my notes. Okay, so yes, please contact me if you have any questions or want more training on that. The last thing I had wanted to talk about, and I've worked with a number of you already, and I think the process has gone pretty well. We've started to implement associate faculty evaluations. And right off the bat, that kind of sounds like a gotcha, but it's not meant to be that. It's meant to be more of a conversation. And I've worked with, I believe, 6 or 7 of you already. Dr. Prashant and I started this a couple months ago and worked right up to the summer. And some of you will get emails from me. I'm just going to share very briefly. Let me just make sure that my screen is right. Give me 1 second. Okay, there it is. So Julianne, I'm going to share very briefly. It's not a pretty slide. Anytime you have Julianne's stuff, it's very nice looking. Mine is very barren. Okay, there it is. So it's not much to look at, but keeps me on track. So the evaluation process, very simply, again, not a gotcha, but it really is a conversation. First, I'll review the syllabi. The department chair reviews the syllabi of the course in question. And then the instructor fills out a self-evaluation, which I will send to you. And I also, or the department chair also fills out a self-evaluation. I also forgot to put on there that you collect your, the student evaluations, the course evaluations. So all gets sent to the department chair, and then we schedule a Zoom meeting. And that Zoom meeting usually lasts about a half hour. And then after doing this once or twice and listening to some feedback, we added a survey, a very quick survey, which essentially is a rating of me and saying, all right, well, how did this work for you? What did this do for you? And, we've done it about 6 or 7 times, and most of you have said that it's been very helpful because it gave you a point of contact and, individualized platform to talk to the department chair and talk about, pressing issues. So again, if you receive an email from me, I'm going through randomly on my list. It's not like you are selected because you're not doing a good job or something. I've just, going through, I have a list and I'm just going through that and try to select 3 people a semester to do that with. So like I said, we've been doing this for about 2 semesters now, and I think it's going pretty well, but I'm always looking to improve. So if you have some more ideas, when we can tell them to me when we talk, and always looking for continuous improvement. So Dr. Dupuy, I think that was all that I had. Did you want me to talk about anything else? Did I miss anything?
Angelo, there was
Yes.
a memo that came from MSDE about the praxis. Did you see that? Do you have a copy of
I'm
it?
not sure which one.
Okay, I can forward the one that I got because I read through it, but I need to read it a couple of times to figure out exactly what it means.
Okay, yeah, send it along to me.
Okay.
Jody, about the math,
No,
something different.
I think it had more than that on it. It was rather confusing, and obviously my state of mind is exactly where it normally is. So, but I'll forward it to you guys, and maybe we can figure out.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure where they're going with the praxis. It did talk about the math, but it talked about some other things too.
Yeah, bring that to me.
Okay.
We'll take a look at it.
Yeah, all right.
One thing that I wanted to share that is pretty exciting, I think, is that the administration has, let me see, sorry, I'm pulling up the correct language, has put in our handbook that adjunct faculty members are eligible for 1 equivalent credit course for each course taught for the university upon submission of grades for that course. So applications for tuition remission must be made within 1 year of completion of the course taught. This benefit is not available to spouses or dependents of adjunct faculty, and the policy is effective as of fall 2024 semester with benefits able to be utilized beginning in the spring of 2025. So what that means is for every course that you teach for us, starting fall, you can then take a course for free. We pay $195. We have to pay the registration fee. But other than that, you get to take a course for free up to 1 year after you taught initially. So that's pretty exciting. If you need to do any professional learning. That includes the PhD courses too, if you get accepted to the program. So, you can't just sign up for that. But you have to be accepted to the program, and it doesn't count, like if you are in the PhD program, it doesn't count for like the 800, the continuing dissertation credits. But pretty exciting. And, it's across the university too. So as long as you qualify to take the class, so you couldn't, take a, PA course, or a physical therapy course or those, but if you, a higher level math course or, a different science course, you can do that. So if you decide to do that, reach out and I'll get you the tuition remission form, but that starts in the spring. So if you teach in the fall for us this year, you can start in the spring. If you teach in the winter, spring. So pretty exciting. All right. Any other questions, thoughts? You guys are terrific. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, make sure you send your bios and a picture to Ryan, because we really want to highlight you all, and make sure that all our students know how wonderful and experienced you all are. And please make sure you fill out that information sheet so we can have all your updated contact information. Thanks, everyone. Have a great last couple weeks of summer.